I'm even doing with my hair at this point. Tiki Talkie, first person in here again. Thank you for being here. The audio should be good now. I don't know why the audio just didn't work. Like I just started the live too, which is what was so confusing. King Fragrance, what's going on? Yeah, normally like that only happens if like I get like called or or you know like I get called or I have like I accidentally click off or something like that. What do you mean I was? PMW. Who's this guy? He's probably a school janitor, guys. Everyone make fun of PMW. He's probably a school janitor. Everyone just say everyone say booger wall to PMW. We back, yo. Whites, okay. Everything should be good. Tiki Talkie, King Fragrance, and Wyatt Scent, and PMW, what's going on? If y'all don't know, PMW is my brother. Nerd? Nerd? You almost said it. I almost said what? What did I almost say? Anyways, what is everyone's fragrance of the day? My fragrance of the day, this is Fragrance World Baraka Amber Eve, clone of Grand Soir. It's a really good, just like ambery vanilla fragrance. That's the easiest way to sum this up. Qaid Al Farsan is King Fragrance's pick. I really wanted to try Qaid Al Farsan. I always want to try Qaid Al Farsan, but the more reviews I watch for it, the more negative reviews I tend to see on it. I really don't know why. It's almost like now every review that I watch, people are like, oh, it doesn't last long. It could be because of the reformulations, but I don't know, because King, you said that you liked it, and I still definitely do want to try it. But I don't know. I guess just like what everyone's been saying about it has made me not want to buy it, but it doesn't really make sense because it's like 17 bucks. It's a juicy pineapple. How similar is it to Creed Aventus? That's another thing I heard. I heard people say it smells like Creed Aventus or similar to Creed Aventus, and I didn't want to get another like Aventus inspired fragrance. What would I do if that shelf fell over right now? Well, it can't fall over right now because it's secured in the wall. Latafa Assad. Wyatt, Latafa Assad looks pretty good. I know King Fragrance has it. I don't remember his thoughts on it like 100%, but I'm pretty sure he said he likes it, but the opening's bad. Or there was one Middle Eastern fragrance he got that he said he liked that the opening's bad. But Dior Sauvage Elixir is what Latafa Assad is cloning. And I've never tried Assad, but that's another one that I do want to try. Sauvage Elixir is all about like nutmeg and licorice shrew and lavender. That's pretty much what that whole, Sauvage Elixir DNA is about. It's really good. I like Assad. I hate Ram Silver. So, King, why do you hate Ram Silver? And then that leads me to another question. What is your thoughts on Ultramall? I don't know if you have tried it, but to me, it's like the most accurate clone of Ultramall. I've tried 9 p.m. Well, the only clones of it I've tried are 9 p.m. and Ram Silver. 9 p.m. is just a little bit too synthetic for me. It's pretty similar, but more sweeter. See, I think I could probably do with like a sweeter Aventus. Assad is a dirty, fresh, more green. One thing I heard, a lot of people are like, Latafa Assad is just Sauvage Elixir with more vanilla. That's what I've heard. TPS extension, hey, she fighting Santa, Georgia war, we win for Bit USA. Jeff, what are you talking about, dude? La Perfumes, do I have any Amouage? I do not have any Amouage. I've seen, like, Amouage Reflection Man looks super good. I have never tried an Amouage. I haven't tried a bunch of niche fragrances, but I heard that Amouage is one of the most, like, the most expensive Middle Eastern house. It still is a niche house, and most Middle Eastern fragrances, are technically niche, but that's like one of the more expensive Middle Eastern houses. Nub's gonna be mad at me for doing Bugs content, but he's gonna respect it. Don't worry though, still gonna be doing fragrance content too. And like, here's the thing. the beauty with making content is when you learn the skills, you can just like translate it to a bunch of stuff. I could decide tomorrow I want to stop making fragrance content, but because I know how to edit, I could start making some other content. I could just make car content, I can make cooking content instead of, a cologne collection. I could have like I don't know, like pocket knife collection or something weird like that. It's time for a haircut. Porter, you're balding. Don't want to hear it, bud. What's up, man? Fendi, how's it going? I never tried Ultramall Ram Silver synthetic sweet that I don't like. Ultramall is very, very synthetic. Like, it's a very synthetic fragrance as it already, okay. Ultramall itself is already a pretty synthetic fragrance. As soon as you make a clone of it and you use, some cheaper oils, but you make it a little more synthetic, I can't really do that. Ultramall is already a synthetic sweet scent. So why I say get Ultramall over a clone of it is, to me, it is not as synthetic as the clones. I love synthetic fragrances. Ultramall, very synthetic, doesn't need to be any more synthetic. Amouage said to have similarities to Gucci Guilty and Pegasus. I love the Gucci Guilty line. I've never tried Pegasus though. Why I Saw Myself? Why I Saw Myself is a great fragrance. It's so good. That's a great thing about creating content, man. You can expand to different things. For sure, for sure. And like with, C2, with your future plans. I don't know if you told anyone, so I don't want to like just say it, but like with your future plans, because you learned how to edit, you're going to be able to edit. Damn, bro. Oh my God, dude, we do look the same. Dude, we look the exact same. You got a troll in here. So, Maurice, PMW is my brother. So, yeah, he's the biggest troll of my life. What do I think about Armani Code? I have Armani Code Eau de Parfum. I love the original Armani Code, and for the most part, the whole Armani Code line is absolutely phenomenal. Armani Code Eau de Parfum is my favorite of all time. This is the pre-reformulation Eau de Parfum. So this one doesn't smell like Perfumo. It smells like Code EDT, longer lasting and with citrus. Pretty much what this fragrance is, beautiful. It is discontinued though. I have a 3.7 ounce bottle. Wow, I was thinking you guys would be able to see it at the bottom, but you can see it slightly at the top. No, you cannot. Only I can see it. The lighting's weird, but it's like right there. I have worn this fragrance a decent amount of times. But really, when I used to wear this fragrance a lot, I would only do like 3 sprays, and I was still switching up my fragrances like every day. Like synthetic fragrances, but not the ones that gives me headaches. And like, there's a limit to syntheticness within fragrances, in my opinion. And like, there are some exceptions, I suppose. So like, Rasasi Huas is a more synthetic take on an already synthetically sweet Invictus. It still works for me though. It's a pretty synthetic fragrance, but it's around the same syntheticness as Ultramall, so it's not that bad. With Maison Alhambra Bright Peach, this is a very synthetic fragrance when you first get it. Now, since I have let it macerate for like 6 months at least, it is a lot less synthetic, but also peach, I want to say. And there's a couple other notes that you can't actually... Oh, what am I thinking of? There are some notes that like you have to make. Like, you can't extract the smell. I don't know. Some weird thing where like you can't make a natural peach scent. You have to make a synthetic one. I don't know why. There was something about it, and of course I'm blanking on it. But knowing that, you can't make peach not smell synthetic because you have to make it a synthetic peach, I think that that's fine. And, even as I said, now it's not as synthetic. It's actually it smells very high quality now. It didn't smell like insanely high quality when I got it, but smells super high quality now. Almond Vanilla Woody is Pegasus. I've also heard some people say that there's a lot of metallics in there. And I've heard some people say that the metallics in it give them like a headache. Coach line, what do I think about it? The Coach line, the Coach line for men, it's a decent line, but they're just okay. None of them necessarily last a long time. None of their scents like necessarily blow me away. I've tried Coach Green, Coach Blue, Coach Platinum, I'm sure I probably tried the original Coach for Men by now. And like they all smell good. They don't last the longest. They're decent fragrances. They don't blow you away in any category, but they're pretty good, as I said. I think if I were to have to get a Coach fragrance, which not even like it's a bad thing to have a Coach fragrance or to get one, I'd probably go Platinum. I think that that's my favorite I'd ever smell. It's like a fruity, woody. Think like Abercrombie and Fitch Fierce or like Mont Blanc Legendish, but different. Like a little more fruity sweet. No, I'm not. I stole his phone. This is this is Thomas. Okay. Unisex. Bangil, what are you asking is unisex? What's my opinion on Nishani? I tried Nishani Ani X-Rate. I really didn't like it. It wasn't that good. Y'all got some fragrances for sale on Mercari, Pacific Chill, Nombre, Nomad. OMG, we look alike. OMG, bro, we look alike. Oh my god, dude. How did I find two twins in this live? What are the chances of this, guys? I've never gotten a headache from a fragrance. Am I alone on this? Okay, for me, a lot of fragrances that I tend to get headaches from, I don't really get headaches when I wear fragrances, but sometimes if someone else is like wearing a really nauseating fragrance, it can give me a headache. Easton, what's going on? Tried a lot of fragrances, finally smell Versace Eros and it but. You don't like Eros? What Eros did you try? Coach ain't bad. The black one. Are you asking? Oh, the black Coach. Is it unisex? If the black Coach is just the EDT, I'd say probably not. It's more masculine. Okay, this person is actually just spamming. Eros is right on the skin. What's the best LeBeau? In my opinion, the EDT. LeBeau Le Parfum just got it. Decent, but you could do better. Put the fries in the bag, Ivy. I'm doing something, but I'm going to keep you on my laptop. Hey, King, I appreciate it. I started this joke. Yeah, facts. And this person was straight up just spamming. Favorite note combo, lavender, vanilla, citrus, aquatic. My favorite note combo of all time is amber and vanilla. Such a good combo. Amber and vanilla fragrances. Something with the Grand Soir DNA. You're talking Prada Black. Amber and vanilla is such a good combo because since amber is a note that varies perfumer to perfumer or where you source your amber note from, to different places, everyone will do an amber note differently. Seeing how this perfumer does amber differently than this perfumer is absolutely beautiful. And, again, like everyone has their own twist on what amber should smell like. That's what they call a fantasy accord. Gotten a headache from Coral Fantasy, probably the aromatics. I think, or like another time that I've gotten a headache is if I'm like fragrance testing and I smell a lot of fragrances. But it's weird because I can smell all my fragrances and not get a headache. But as soon as I'm like out, I don't know, like it could be that I have no clue. I really don't know why I can smell fragrances at home, but like as soon as I go to a store and I smell a bunch and I get a headache. Eros sucks. Eros isn't the worst. I tried the original Eros. It's good, but it's glazed for nothing. You have to understand though, like that is just a highly complimented fragrance. Like the Eros line will get so many compliments. It's crazy. Pink Pepper and Geranium, Prada Black, Best 1 Million. Parfum, Royal, or Elixir. It's really a tie between those three. They're all phenomenal. Prada Black sucks. Prada Black does not suck. Prada Black is so good. Sup, Woodward, how are you doing? Prada Black is so good. It is. What about Middle East fragrances? So I have a whole row of, and I have some out here as well. So I have a whole, you know what? Let's show the Middle Eastern portion of my collection. So Rasasi, okay, I have Rasasi Hawass, Game of Spades Full House. I have 4 Paris Corner fragrances. Moscow Mule is super good. Cairo Pistachio is phenomenal. Tiramisu Speculoos is phenomenal. And then Banana Bliss is pretty good. It's not the craziest fragrance, but it's pretty good. Bright Peach from Maison Alhambra is phenomenal. Halloween Man EDT is phenomenal. I know that this one's technically not Middle Eastern, but it's like Brazilian or something like that. So I put it there. These three Latafas, Kamerkawa, Vintage Radio, and Amir Al Oud are phenomenal. Then we have Fragrance World, only one from them, Baraka Amber Eve, Clona Grand Soir, and that does it for my Middle Eastern fragrances. I love Middle Eastern fragrances because they are cheap, but phenomenal. And there's a lot of long-lasting Middle Eastern fragrances out there. They're putting headaches in the fragrance testers. Dude, they are, I swear. Fendi, damn, got a stuffy nose or sick the next day after smelling fragrances in a store. Like, I know a lot of people, they'll say that they get super stuffy or like their nose will, like, I was going to say, or their nose will clog up, but that's the exact same thing as being stuffy. Hooping right now, but still listening to, hey, C2, I appreciate it, bro. I mean, I could technically be hooping right now if I wanted to. My 7th period, I've taken a class called Explore Exceptionalities, and so I help with like a special needs class. We have a gym period, so I'm just banging out threes, just playing basketball that whole period pretty much. Porter will know what I'm talking about. Porter, Tate Ramsey, me and him 1v1 did, we 1v1 did today. Dropped like 7 threes on his head. Started Prada Black's terrible. Reminds me of Goth Breath. Interesting. Dry Down is good. Yes, Dry Down's phenomenal. Worst fragrance has ever done is make me sneeze. Y'all's noses are broken. Well, Maurice, though. Maurice, you got to think about this. Like, you've built up an immunity to fragrances. Like, you spray, like, I don't know, like 10 sprays, like 10, 20, 30 sprays. Maurice, you got to think about it. It's going in your bloodstream, and you're immune to it. You're immune to fragrances now, Maurice. Be smelling the whole line of fragrances, though. Like, here's my thing, too. Especially when I find new fragrances, like, that's all I want to do is just smell them. And, like, when I'm out in, like, a Dillard's or an Ulta, bro, first thing on my mind, where are all the fragrances? Rate the house. So, Game of Spades. This is Game of Spades Full House, clone of Louis Vuitton's Imagination. It's just this super good citrusy. This is like this citrus powdery minty fragrance. It's interesting that because I say that it smells like a minty orange juice, which is just kind of weird. But Game of Spades Full House smells absolutely phenomenal. I've never tried Imagination. I probably should have said this is a clone of Louis Vuitton's Imagination. But it smells absolutely phenomenal. Very nice, light, airy citrus fragrance, and it is phenomenal. Already read that. Have I heard of Federico Mahara? It's a brand. I don't think I have. I really don't think I have. Like Killian or Initio Louis Vuitton. What do you mean by that, Fendi? Easton, PEMW is my brother, and he's just trolling right now. Check on Liquid Brun by French Avenue. Cheyenne, that one looks absolutely phenomenal. I was going to pull the trigger on it, but I don't know, because I do want to get it. But really where I've been at with, you know, getting fragrances, trading fragrances, I'm really only getting warm weather fragrances now just because, you know, the warm weather's coming up. There's really, like, not a whole point of me getting, like, a, you know, cold weather spicy fragrance when it's about to be warm. And I'm going to be wearing, you know, light, airy, citrusy fragrances. Heard Coach Green is good. Have I tried it? I have. It's a pretty good green fragrance. It has, says it has kiwi in there. I don't really detect kiwi. It's less of kiwi, just more green. Prada Luna Rosa EDT. I have it and it's phenomenal. Favorite Grand Soir dupe, Fragrance World Amber Eve. It's the only one I've tried. Latafa Amethyst gave me a major headache even after 2 sprays. I've heard that Amethyst is like super synthetic, like floral scent. That's too good. Rate all the JPGs worst to best. Okay, all the JPGs that I've tried worst to best. Worst, Paradise Garden, bro. That one sucked. Opening's phenomenal. Dry down, like, they're all good fragrances. But Paradise Garden just absolutely sucks. Then, I'm going to go with Le Beau Le Parfum. Actually, no. We're restarting. Last place. Fuck. Okay, we're going the opposite way. First place, John Paul Gaultier's Ultramall. Second place, John Paul Gaultier's Le Beau. Third place, John Paul Gaultier's Le Male Elixir. Fourth place, John Paul Gaultier's Le Male EDT. Fifth place, John Paul Gaultier Divine. Sixth place, John Paul Gaultier Le Belle Le Parfum. 7, John Paul Gaultier's Le Beau Le Parfum. 8, John Paul Gaultier's Le Belle Original. And 9, the last JPG, my least favorite JPG, Paradise Garden. I could not go in that backwards order because I was like, okay, last is this and this and this. It was just much easier for me to be like, this is what I like from best to worst instead of worst to best. I think for me, it's always easier. Whenever I start out a list, you know, I'm doing top 5 cold weather fragrances. I'm grabbing out, okay, this is my first favorite, this is my second favorite, third favorite. That's so much easier than, okay, well, you know, here's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And obviously you wouldn't do that. But when people are like worst to best, I cannot do that. Exact, I'd be doing in the gym. It's probably fragrance only. Oh, it's probably the only fragrance that's giving you a headache, even though I like the middle. This middle of it? What do you mean the middle of it? Fragrances, early 90s, musky, cool fragrance, like Cool Water or Eternity. Why do you hate those the most? Like, what about it? Try to take Hawas, black, back, it smells terrible. I've been wearing Lattafa Camera, dude, you have to get it. Hey, Steve, I don't have the original Camera. I have Camera Kawa. This one is phenomenal. It's so good. Did they take back Prada Black or no, Steve? Haha, true. Yes, sir, Maurice. Afternoon Swim, overrated, too sweet, and Meteor smells old school. Pacific Chill is definitely the best. Me forgot what I had. It made a girl stop. What are you Woodward, I'm so confused. Coconut note in any fragrance makes me puke. I love coconut fragrances. It's like my favorite. Coconut is, I think, especially for warm weather fragrances, one of the best notes. I don't have any Bulgari fragrances, so then I don't have Aquamarine. Do I have any hot takes? Yes, fragrance hot take. Versace Blue Jeans is in my top 10 of all time. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that, like, okay, I guess, you know, me saying that Blue Jeans is in my top 10 isn't a hot take. I'm saying Blue Jeans is in my top 10. I absolutely love it. My girlfriend absolutely loves it. My hot take, Versace Blue Jeans is a phenomenal fragrance. Versace Blue Jeans smells great, lasts a long time, projects nicely. It's very versatile. And yes, it's a nice old school fragrance. If you want an old school fragrance, get Versace's Blue Jeans. Get Dracar Noir. Get CK1. Get Cool Water. Get the original Le Male. But these people who are buying these fragrances and they're like, they suck. No. Okay, here's the thing. And here's the thing that you need to understand. Bro, if anything, I can make a whole video out of this. Really, you should not be hating on fragrances in general. Now, if you do want to hate on a fragrance, go hate on a fragrance. But in my opinion, when, you know, you're a younger guy, you wear fragrances, we're talking, you wear John Paul Gaultier's Ultra Male, you wear Versace Hawas, you know, you're wearing all these sweet fragrances. And why I'm using those two as an example is those two fragrances, super popular on TikTok. That's where a lot of this hate, for, you know, all these outdated fragrances has come from. It's all from TikTok pretty much. But, you know, you have a bunch of these people that wear Ultra Male, they wear Versace Hawas, they wear these, you know, overly sugary sweet fragrances, and then they smell a fragrance that is like, you know, Versace's Blue Jeans. They smell a fragrance that's different. Oh, it smells old school. It smells like a grandpa. It came out in the 90s, you know. Ultra Male came out in 2016. Versace Hawas came out in 2014. Versace Blue Jeans came out in the 90s. It's going to smell like a fragrance people wanted to wear in the 90s. This is what people wanted to wear in the 90s. Now, you know, it's 2025. 31 years later, not everyone is going to want to smell like Blue Jeans. That's fine. But I guarantee if you bring like John Paul Gaultier's Ultra Male or Versace Hawas back into like back into like the mid 90s, it would be pretty much the complete opposite. If people were hating on fragrances, they'd probably be hating on those ones. Coconut fragrances are for the beach. They're super good on the beach. Absolutely, I agree with you. Issey Miyake, original must not be forgotten. That is my stepdad's signature scent. Really nice citrus yuzu fragrance. It's super good. A lot of fragrance community is just people copying other people's opinions. And exactly, that's one thing that I hate. That's one thing that I wish the community would work on. And that's something that I always try and say, you know, make your own opinions. Do not just listen to people and be like, oh, okay, Jeremy Fragrance says Nautica Voyage is good, so I think Nautica Voyage is good. No, go smell Nautica Voyage. If you're like, Nautica Voyage really isn't good, bam, that's your opinion right there. You don't like Nautica Voyage. Can you rate Pen Shop Hustle Night Edition? I've never heard of that. Did I see the new Rasasi Elixir? I did. I'm a little like, I would have rather liked to see the Elixir be a clone of like Sauvage Elixir opposed to Lamal Elixir, because like to me Lamal Elixir isn't that good. I sold my Lamal Elixir. I don't have Lamal Elixir anymore. I really didn't wear it. Ultramal I wear so much more than Lamal Elixir. LeBeau I wear so much more than Lamal Elixir. Like Lamal Elixir was great, but I got like, I don't know, 100 something bucks back for it, so it really wasn't that bad. What's my signature scent? So, Steve, I don't have a signature scent because I switch up my fragrances every single day. And then after like a week, then I can rewear those fragrances. But if I had to give myself a signature scent, I would say Stronger With You EDT. Smell Azzaro Elixir at Dillard's yet? I have not. Man, what's up, Fendi? Sweet sugary fragrances and Elixir are current trend now. Like those war movies in the 2000s, they'll go out of fashion soon. And it's like, here's the thing. I think it'll be so interesting because what's coming next, right? Like, what is coming next in the realm of fragrances? We went through those, you know, powdery fragrances from, okay, pretty much the timeline of fragrances. In like the, you know, whenever fragrances were first made, like, okay, 4711, first fragrance ever made. It was made by like it was made by like a sailor or explorer or some shit. He had just like used all of the common, he had used all of the, he just used citrus and like herbs and shit like that. And it's just like this like really fresh like marine fragrance. That's pretty much all 4711 is. Eau de Cologne concentration, super, super weak. You can buy like a gallon of it for like 30 bucks off of Amazon. Then when, you know, like actual perfumers started coming around and people were more interested in fragrances, that's really where for a good, like pretty much, I would say at least like 100 years, powdery fragrances were like all the rage. Powdery fragrances, sweet vanillas, and like more woodsy masculine fragrances definitely started to emerge by like the 60s. So I would say all the way back from when, you know, the first fragrance was ever created up until like the 50s and 60s, it was a lot of just like powdery fragrances. You know, with that exception of, you know, like that really fresh 4711, and there was always fragrances that were just like really fresh, but powdery fragrances were that big thing for that whole time. Moving up to, you know, like the 60s, you know, like think, I know that this one came out a while before that, but like Chanel Coco or Chanel number 5, I don't know which one. I think that those two could both be perfumes. So I think that they came out like a long time ago. But you know, those were really popular. You're moving into like the 80s. That's Cool Water. That's Dracar Noir. Those like bad boy fragrances kind of. I mean, even though Cool Water isn't really like a bad boy fragrance. 90s, that like old school powdery vibe, going back to, you know, those old school vibes. 2000s, when I think of 2000s fragrances, I think of a lot of like more uplifting fragrances, fresh fragrances, aromatic fragrances. 2010s were more of just like that really mass appealing, complimentable fragrances. A lot of fragrances. What's biggest regret? Biggest regret? Like fragrance wise or what? Tired of clone fragrances. I agree. What's up, brother? Fragrance reviews. How are you doing? Latafa Kamra Elixir is next. Hey, depending on what it could be, I might try it. I got to go with Rasasi Hawass. Elixir fragrances, PMO. Is YEDP highly complimented? Absolutely. Do I still have honey water? Yes, Jose. I have 3 from Christopher Lee fragrances. I think raspberry and leather might be the new hit. That definitely could be a good combo. Be a good combo. Kamra Elixir. Yeah, I'm tapped into that. Yeah. Now we're caught up. I'm gonna put all these fragrances back. But like, it's so interesting just to see how things change. You know, and the beautiful thing is this like next up and coming crowd is really what will determine, you know, the future of fragrances, right? Like we still have perfumers like Alberto Maria is still alive, Mason Francis Kurkdjian, Pierre Montal, You know, I could keep going on. Daniela Roche. There's, you know, these perfumers that have been here for a long time, but you know, we obviously they're more younger perfumers. But I was kind of just saying like those really big perfumers. Um, but I think it will be interesting because who knows if these, you know, like the generation I'm in, you know, and a little bit older are really into like those like sugary sweet fragrances, as I was saying, Rasasi, Hawass, and Ultramall could be interesting because then with perfumery, you could see a lot more sweeter fragrances coming out from the younger crowd, and then more of those like old school or even more like just like classic fresh fragrances like Versace Pour Homme. You'll see a lot more of those fragrances coming out from the older crowd of perfumers. But I think that it'll really be interesting because you know everyone's different within perfumery. You know, I've started doing perfumery. I'm going to start selling my fragrances. Obviously, you know, I do fragrances the way I want to do them. I make them how I want them to smell and everything like that. So they're really appealing to me. But it's so interesting to get reactions now with this is my first fragrance. I'm sure a lot of you guys know what this is. It's like a fruity, it's a fruity frankincense vanilla, and I was very, very happy. I took this one to school, I wore it, and I was getting people's reviews on it, I was letting people try it, and for the most part, I was getting a lot of like positive attention. A lot of people were saying it smelled good. The longevity and projection is definitely something that I'm actually going to have to work on. Because one thing I didn't realize is when I would test the fragrance, I do like 4 or 5 sprays just on my wrist. So it was lasting like 6 hours because there's 5 sprays all on my wrist. I didn't get like necessarily like horrible longevity. Okay. It's eau de parfum concentration. So theoretically it should last, I think it says like 5 to 6 hours is what eau de parfum concentrations should last at least. But I will say like 4 hours. 4 hours of good projection, and then it really went down. But I was in my gym class, and I wasn't really sweating that much, but dude, it was projecting off me like crazy. And then it's weird. So I was wearing it at first. I didn't get a lot of projection. After that gym class, it was projecting like crazy, and it wasn't just for like that, you know, like that class right after it. Pretty much up until like the next half of the day because I have gym first period all the way up until like fourth period. It was projecting crazy after I was sweating. But yeah, I don't really know what I'm yapping about. This is another fragrance that I made. This one, it's a coffee, pretty much it's a coffee, vanilla, toasted marshmallow heavy fragrance. There's amber in there as well. But there's like a lot of vanilla, a lot of coffee, and a lot of, or did I say toasted vanilla? If I said toasted vanilla, I meant toasted marshmallow. And I was trying to make it gourmand. It wasn't like, I don't know, because with fragrances, you want to let them sit for at least like really 2 weeks because that's how long they need to sit for the oils to blend together and get the actual smell that you will get. So I still have to let this one sit for a little bit, but I do want to check this out. It's been sitting for a few days. I showed it to my mom the first day. She said that she liked it, which, I mean, I feel like my mom is just going to say she likes it regardless. Just because moms are supportive. Ooh. Okay, I could smell that from... Ooh, that smells... That smells good. That smells really good. It's like honey sweet vanilla coffee. It's very honey sweet. Okay, this has changed up a lot. Wow. Okay. Okay, this has changed up a lot. This more obviously it's a lot better blended. It's a lot better. What am I saying? It's a lot better blended. That's the biggest thing that immediately jumps out at me. Not as rough, not as harsh on the nose. But yeah, there's frankincense, vanilla, amber, toasted marshmallow, coffee. There is, I think I put a little bit of cinnamon in there, put a little bit of mango in there. I think maybe I put a little bit of bergamot essential oil in there too, but I could be mistaken. Okay, that one is good. And that one had switched up a lot. I have another, okay, hold on, this is weird. There have been no new comments. That's something I've well, I kind of noticed it. There's been no new comments for like the past 5 minutes. I'm so confused. I have no clue. Well, that's so weird. I don't even know. I don't know what to say to that. Okay, this fragrance right here, this is a flanker to my original fragrance. That's the first one I was talking about, not the one I was just talking about. That is the that's the frankincense vanilla heavy fragrance that I was talking about. This one I've actually not smelt since I made it, and it's been sitting for like 2 to 3 weeks at this point. Okay. This one, okay. Actually, I'm a little let down. This one, low-key, just smells like my original one. It doesn't really smell much different. Which is something that, you know, ultimately I was trying to do with this fragrance. But if I have to restart it, that's not the biggest deal. Yeah. That one kind of let me down because it really did just smell like the original, like my original one. So we're going to do a spray test. We're going to compare them. Because obviously I'm not trying to like sell two fragrances that are exactly the same. So we'll see. If not, honestly, I could see what some of y'all would want, you know, as a fragrance for me to make, possibly. Oh, that smells phenomenal. Okay, dude, fuck, that smells so good. I'm not trying to like toot my own horn, but that opening, so good. It's like syrupy, fruity, sweet. And then you get vanilla and frankincense. I absolutely love that opening. So good. Absolutely amazing. One thing I do want to try though, and I think that this possibly could increase longevity and projection, is instead of essential oils as the top notes, which is what I've been using, I will just get actual fragrance oils. The only reason why I had essential oils is because I was looking it up and people were like, yeah, you use essential oils as your top notes, but I don't necessarily think that that works the best. Okay. One thing I noticed, this one is a little more fruity sweet. This is the flanker. A little more fruity sweet, which is interesting because one of the big things I did is I added cinnamon to this one. But I put less frankincense, so it would make sense that it's like less incensey. So yeah, now is it different enough to make as a whole fragrance? I don't know, probably not. Like, it smells good. I'll have to get some people's opinions on this one. The original one, as I said, I got some really good reactions with. And then going back to that coffee vanilla one, ooh, that coffee's coming out a lot. Dark coffee, cinnamon, vanilla, frankincense. That's primarily what I get. That is some good stuff right there, dude. That is some good stuff. That is so good. Okay. Well, who would have guessed it? I freaking fell in love with my own fragrance again, as I've done with, I wouldn't say every single fragrance I've made. The first 2 fragrances I had ever made, I thought were absolutely disgusting. I mixed one and I let it sit for like a week. I think it was the first one I made. I took it to school. I started showing people. It was so gross. It was not good at all. And I remember I showed one person and I got embarrassed. The person said it was good. I thought it was horrible. So I didn't show anyone else for the rest of the day. And I took it home and I dumped it down my sink. Because I thought it was so gross, dude. I don't know why. And I mean, I don't know. Maybe I should have showed it to more people. Maybe, you know, a lot of people have been like, oh no, it's really good. I thought it was horrible, and I was like, dude, I don't want people smelling this because of how bad it smells. Okay, I am so confused because there's still no comments coming through. So, okay, now it says there's 11 people in here. So there's a difference with 18 likes. 13. Okay, now it's updating. I'm so confused. But still no text? Or comments? I don't even know, dude. It's been so weird because, like, part of, talking about fragrances is, or like going live talking about fragrances, responding to questions. I don't have any questions to respond to. And I still don't have any questions to respond to. So I really don't know what to talk about. Let's talk about Hugo Boss Energize. Hugo Boss Energize is just this super good, let's get two sprays. Super good, citrusy, aromatic, woodsy fragrance. Green, slightly herbal. Just very fresh, clean, and aromatic. I don't honestly think you can go wrong with this fragrance. Like, it's just a super good, nice, clean fragrance. It's very cheap. I get good longevity and projection. I like wearing this one in the warmer weather, but it works well in the cooler weather as well. It's just like a really good fragrance. I am also like in love with the color on this fragrance. That is one thing I noticed immediately, and I absolutely loved. It's purple. You don't see a lot of fragrances that are purple. So I was very pleased to see this fragrance because it looked really cool. And then Hugo Boss Dark Blue is another one that I definitely need to talk about more. Dark Blue. I actually wore this one the other day. It's this good citrus. Okay, off the top, this very like zingy citrus. Very zingy citrus with this ginger that makes it a little spicy. And it has this like fruity, candy-ish vibe. And then it just has like this nice blue, woodsy background. Now, the interesting thing with this fragrance, I would have thought that this fragrance came out like in the 2010s. Or maybe even the 2020s. This fragrance came out in 1999. It's not, that typical 90s, early 2000s type of fragrance. I mean, it kind of is. Because Hugo Boss Energize came out in like 05, I want to say. Hugo Boss Bottled EDT, which this is my favorite Hugo Boss fragrance. Honestly, I need to wear this one. I've not worn this one in a while. I think I might surprise my girlfriend with this one. She loves this one. I think I might wear this one tomorrow. Dude, how did I forget about Hugo Boss Bottled? I'm geeked for forgetting it. I have something on this. Oh, yeah. Okay. Hugo Boss Bottled. It's this absolutely phenomenal woodsy cinnamon apple fragrance. Woodsy cinnamon apple. That's primarily what I get. I believe that there's a plum note in here as well, but it's just this nice, fresh woods, soft, fresh, spicy cinnamon. Nice green apple. That's just pretty much what this fragrance is. I do about 5 sprays. My spraying routine, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with this fragrance. It's a classic. It smells good. I get decent longevity and projection with this one. This one's kind of iffy. The projection is kind of faint. Like, since I do 5 sprays, yes, I can smell it on me, but it's not, like a whole lot of, projection. It's about a foot or 2 of projection, which isn't that bad. But it lasts about like 6 to 7 hours on my skin. So it's pretty good. I picked this up for $50. It's crazy because I don't know the last time I picked this bottle up was. Genuinely, I forgot that I had this fragrance. And I don't know how, because it's super good. If anything, what I might try and do can I... Damn, I can do that. All right, there we go. Okay, I'm so effing confused. So effing confused. There's still no comments. This makes no sense. I don't want green screen. Oh, I don't want green screen, bro. What? Bro. I don't want green. Okay. Well, since there are no chats coming through to me, I don't know if you guys, I mean, I'm assuming you guys are typing, but for whatever reason, they're not getting through to me. I guess I'll try disconnecting and connect again, but I doubt it'll change anything. It'll be crazy if just like 10 minutes of comments come through all at once. Nothing. Okay, well, I think that this is going to be it for this live. I appreciate you all for watching my live. I'm sorry that it got weird towards the end and no comments were coming through on my part. I really don't know what happened. Anyways, though, it was a pretty good live nonetheless. Thank you all for supporting me. Please make sure to drop a sub and a like if y'all have not already. Peace, everyone. Have a great day.